So I grew up in a small town in Henderson, Kentucky, and I grew up with the small town blues. Um, I from the town that I'm from, that if you're not into sports or you're not a basketball player, you're not a football player, you're kind of ostracized. I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't need a lot of friends. Um, but I guess my first step out of the small town was when I submitted a video to MTV's Made to become a plus size model. They ended up picking up the video and giving me a call. We went ahead with a green light where they came and they filmed me and my friends for a couple of days and sent that off to a committee to see if it would be interesting for people to watch. Eventually, I got a call back and we got the okay to go ahead with the show, and we had people fly in from New York City to film us. My maid coach was Whitney Thompson, the first plus size winner of America's Next Top Model. And with that, we filmed for 2 weeks at home, and it was mainly just learning how to walk properly and learning different models' names and learning to carry myself and to exercise. We did a lot of exercising. About 2 weeks into filming, she sat me down and me and my family down and told me that they were going to fly me out to New York City, and I was allowed to bring one person with me, which of course I brought my longtime boyfriend, Wesley, and we got put up in a small hotel in the Holiday Inn right outside of Times Square, and they got me a job working at this restaurant called Isa Wine and Chocolate Bar, where they got me the job just to do it as like an aspiring model would have a job if she lived here in the city. So I worked with them and did the show. When the show was coming to an end, the manager or the owner of the restaurant approached me and asked if he could keep me full time, to which of course I said yes, but he gave me a deadline of 2 weeks and then he had to fill my position again. So I had to go home and in the house that I grew up in my whole life, pack up every item or throw it out or just literally just go through everything that I've ever owned in my entire life and deem whether it was worthy to come with me to New York City. My boyfriend was planning to move with me. He called a meeting the day before we were supposed to leave, and said, I'm not going with her. And I laughed my ass all the way to the car and laughed my ass all the way to his house and continued to laugh my ass off while I was packing all of his crap and throwing it into the van. And he ended up coming with me, and it was just him, my mother, my dog, and myself piled into a 3-seater U-Haul, and we took 15 hours over 3 days to get to New York City. And once here, we spent the first 9 laps in the city hitting the same turnpike because we just couldn't figure out how to get off of it. So we passed the same IKEA about 9 times. But we ended up finding a place to live with roommates Mary and Amanda, and at the time Christopher lived there. He was staying in the bedroom while we had to sleep on the futon in the living room for 2 weeks until he moved out. And when he did move out, we ended up taking his room and living there for the first 6 months or so. Eventually I decided that I wanted to pursue my true passion, photography. So I started sending out emails and making phone calls to local New York City photographers. One of the first people I called was David Plackey, and the first time I ever spoke to this man, we had a 45-minute conversation that was just riddled with ADHD. I don't think there was a clear focus on any one main point, but eventually he said, you know what, I think we're going to work. Why don't you come down tomorrow and we'll start working on editing and getting to know each other. And that was the beginning of a very amazing friendship with my idol. You are my idol. He's been an amazing mentor and somebody that I've been able to look up to and call if I ever had any problems or had any questions about anything from photography to life to living in New York City. And I'm thankful every day that I met this man. Going on from there, I worked with him for 2 years, almost 2 years, just doing different stuff, and I went on several road trips with him, and we had a lot of fun, did a lot of things. Eventually, I ended up moving on and just solely working in the hospitality industry, working in bars and restaurants. Still working on my own kind of here and there, just trying to keep up with life and make sure the bills are paid, and still going off. And I kind of shied away from it and started doing things that I wanted to do, like going out and vacationing and doing a few trips here and there. Eventually, I decided that New York was great and all, but it's not for me, and I think I'm ready for the next step. And so I talked to my boyfriend, and we decided that we wanted to move to Eugene, Oregon. And in Eugene, we plan to both go back to school. It's a college town. We picked Eugene just because we were looking for something. Well, we're looking for, first of all, for something totally new. We're all about living life to the fullest and finding new experiences. And I just felt like this would be a great new endeavor. Firstly, because we started looking just for where it is in relation to like hiking and being outdoors and doing stuff like that. And it's about an hour from the beach or the hot springs or hiking in the mountains. We also still have a city nearby. Portland is about an hour and 45 minutes away. And then just recently, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, my best friend ended up moving out there, and that was kind of like sealing the deal for us, and we decided that we're going to go out there, and I'm pretty excited to start a new adventure with amazing friends and family, and I can't wait. Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know each cloud contains pennies from heaven? You'll find your fortune falling over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down. Trade them for a package of sunshine or flowers. If you want the things you love, you must have showers. So when you hear it thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. There we go. All right, let's try this one. Sweet pea, apple of my eye, gone away and I don't know why. You're the only reason I keep on coming home. if you don't mind. Sorry. What was it?
Keep pointed like this, because then you're blocked. That's good. You're good.
Okay. Isn't this such a beautiful night? Oh, we're underneath 1,000 shining stars. Isn't it nice to find yourself somewhere different? Whoa, why don't you let your... Okay. Isn't this such a beautiful night? Whoa, we're underneath 1,000 shining stars. Isn't it nice to find yourself somewhere different? Whoa, why don't you let yourself just be wherever you are? Look at this place, look at your faces. I've never seen them look like this before. Isn't it nice to find yourself somewhere different? Whoa, why don't you let yourself just be wherever you are? Look at this place, look at your faces. I've never seen, they're shining like 1,000 shining stars. Isn't it nice to find yourself somewhere different? Whoa, why don't you let yourself just